Guys, in 2026, could we be getting the likes of the Mac Mini coming out anytime soon? Well, today I want to go over all the leaks and details for the brand new Mac Mini with an M5 and M5 Pro chip inside. Now, just a little quick history lesson where we are with the Mac Mini right now. We last got the Mac Mini updated at the end of 2024, and it was this brand new design Mac Mini. The first time we updated like in about 12-15 years or something like that. The point was, it was a long time coming, but the new form factor has been absolutely amazing and it's been super popular. So many people have been buying this brand new Mac Mini, and especially the price, what it costs to, that you can pick it up for $599 US with an M5 chip has been absolutely amazing. Now, a lot of other people have been using like educators, like sort of discounts getting for $499 US, and a lot of people are loving this new Mac Mini. So much so, it's even become super popular with the likes of AI and OpenClaw as well. So yeah, they've been selling out really fast, especially in the last few months. But the big question is, what about the next generation of the Mac Mini? What kind of changes are we going to see? And also, when is it potentially going to be coming out? Well, the first thing I'm going to say with changes with the design of the current Mac Mini, don't expect any changes when we get the M5 and the M5 Pro. Remember, we just literally had the refresh of the Mac Mini just recently with its design, and as we know, Apple love to retain their design for a good number of years. So yeah, don't expect the Mac Mini to probably get a design refresh to at least, I'd say at the earliest, M10 or something like that. So yeah, it's going to be a long time away before we actually get a brand new kind of design for it. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to say straight away. Is going to stay exactly the same. But where things are going to probably change is obviously to do with the actual chip, what goes inside. So we are expecting the M5 chip to go in, and we're also expecting to get the likes of the M5 Pro. And we've already seen how fast this is because we've already got that M5 chip out in multiple devices, and the M5 Pro also out in the likes of the MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inch. And just have a look at the scores right here on this chart. And we can see right here that we'd obviously just with Geekbench here on its own with single core, multi-core performance. So obviously, yeah, the M5 is definitely out in front, 4,306 compared to, you know, almost 3,700 that we had before. And then the same with multi-core performance, you know, we've got 14,700. We're now basically getting about 17,700, near about that. So yeah, it's really, really quick in what we are getting here. And then the same with GPU. Obviously, we know what we're getting there too, because obviously I like to say we get the full fat version of the GPU with the M5. So yeah, this time it's the 10 core GPU cores, and look at the difference that we got right here. With Metal FX, you can see, for example, we get a score of 54,630 here, and then obviously it's 75,536. So yeah, definitely a good improvement what we got there with, you know, the likes of the GPU cores, and mainly because it's those AI cores that have actually enhanced things here. That's definitely really helped out. And even just having a look at another test I did was still Nomad Lite, obviously recently, that obviously we got like 31.2 frames per second compared to 38.5 frames per second. There's definitely an improvement there. Obviously, still Nomad Lite might not fully utilize those AI bits and pieces. That's why you've probably maybe expecting that to be a bit more higher, but still there is an improvement we are getting. But like I said, the M5 chip most likely is going to stay exactly the same like we've had recently in other sort of devices like the MacBook Pro with the M5 chip. So what I'm talking about here is I'm talking about that 10 core sort of setup. So this is the likes there where we've got, say, 6 efficiency cores, and then we've also got 4 performance cores. That's what we've got with the M5. And then obviously, like we said, with the GPU, obviously, yeah, what we're getting there is a 10 core GPU like we got before, where we had that with the M4 standard. What I'd also like to throw into the mix is that most likely that obviously RAM is probably going to stay exactly the same in the configurations, where you could pick 16, 24 or 32 gigabytes of RAM for the likes of the M5 Mac Mini. So then guys, just before filming this video, I actually use Whisper Flow to capture some of my video ideas, and this has generally become part of my daily workflow now. Now, normally when I get an idea, I open up Apple Notes and start typing it out all manually, and that slows down everything, especially when ideas are just coming in super quickly. You must have learned by now how quickly I try to turn around content. But with Whisper Flow, I actually just press the hotkey and start talking. So I will say something like, video idea for preparing the M4 Mac Mini to an Intel i9 Panther Lake mini PC, focusing on performance and efficiency and real-world creator workflows. And actually, no, not just performance, include thermals and power draw as well. And instantly, it just cleans up perfectly into proper written text and removes the filler words, fixes the self-corrections automatically, and formats everything properly. I can even go down into real proper details, like for example, I could say, you know, performance cores, efficiency cores, and also, you know, talk about thermals and degrees, and it turns into a numbered list instantly. And what makes it feel genuinely smart is because it works directly inside Apple Notes, I can capture ideas naturally without breaking my flow. And I've been using this constantly now for new video ideas, planning and general notes, and it makes the whole process much faster. So if you want to check out Whisper Flow yourself, use my link below and you'll get Whisper Flow Pro free for an extra month. So make sure that you definitely check that out right now. So moving on from this, what about the performance then for the likes of the M5 Pro? Because I know a lot of you guys are interested in that. Well, obviously we know what this is like now with the MacBook Pro, what we're expecting to see. So let's have a look at this chart right here. And we can see that obviously in single core performance, so yeah, it was way higher. It's like 4,286 compared to, you know, the 3,913 that we got with the M4 Pro. So definitely an improvement there. And then for multi-core performance, well, we can see obviously, yeah, we used to get like 22,412, and we've gone right up now. But obviously with that option of that higher kind of chip now with the M5 Pro, we can even get almost close to 28,000. Remember, the CPU element is very similar to what we get in the M5 Max. This is a massive gain, what we are getting this time around with the likes of the M5 Pro. So yeah, really impressive to see there. But then a lot of you guys also want to know, what about GPU? What's going to be happening there? Well, it's the same thing as well. We've also got some new GPU cores, and have a look at the performance differences that we have right here. You can see that obviously in Geekbench Metal, what we were getting before was 112,067 compared to what we get right now was, you know, 139,295. Was a massive difference. Same with still Nomad Lite again, obviously 52 frames per second on average. And again, this is now 66.6 frames per second. And do remember, with the likes of the M5 Pro this time, Apple have changed the cores around a little bit more. We now actually have performance cores and those new super cores inside. We don't actually have efficiency cores anymore. So super cores and performance cores. But then for the likes of, say, RAM, obviously we're expecting the same what we've got with the M4 Pro. It's going to start at like at 24 gigabytes as the baseline. You'll be able to scale it up there, obviously, all the way up to the likes of, say, 48 gigabytes. But something else that I would like to mention at this time is, you might have noticed I've not talked about storage, because this is where I think things might change for the M5 standard and also the likes of the M5 Pro. Because just recently with the likes of the MacBook Air, the MacBook Pro, Apple have doubled up their storage, but also, as it were, increased their price, but they haven't increased their price. So let me give you an example of this. So what they've done recently, let's say the likes of a MacBook Air, that obviously, yeah, it started originally with the M4, it was $999 US, but that gave you 256 gigabytes of storage. Now it starts at 512 gigabytes of storage. Now, what would have happened before if you'd gone with an M4 and you wanted 512, this would have cost you $200 more to get that. But what Apple have decided to change here is that they've actually decided to make it $100 more as the baseline price. And this is the same thing it's looking like that Apple could be doing with the Mac Mini. So at the moment, as we know, it starts at $599 US. Personally, I think the Mac Mini actually might start at $699 US as its new price. But the key difference is you will get 512 gigabytes of storage. And remember, on the M4 right now, this would actually cost you $200 more to go from $256 to $512. So do you see what I mean? It's technically the baseline price has come up by $100, but effectively it is actually cheaper by $100, if that makes sense. And I think it's going to be exactly the same thing what's going to happen with the likes of the M5 Pro with the Mac Mini. I think again there'll be a price increase of $100, but this time round what you won't get 512 gigabytes as the standard. You will get 1 terabyte. Same thing again, where they'll be pushing up a tier, but pushing up by $100. That's what I think personally is going to happen with the Mac Mini when it does come out with the M5 and the M5 Pro. But next of all though, let's talk about the release date, because we've covered everything else like storage and configurations and also the price too, as you've just seen there. But obviously let's talk about the release time. Now, it looks like there could be 2 potential times that Apple could be releasing it. One of the times it could happen, personally, I don't think it's going to happen at this one, and that is it could be happening at this new April event for the 50th year anniversary from Apple. In fact, 50 years of Apple's on April 1st, and that's no joke. You can look it up. That is when actually Apple was formed. It was actually April 1st, 1976. So yeah, it is actually 50 years on April 1st. It's not a joke, that is true. There, around that time, we could actually see the release of a new Mac Mini with the likes of the M5 and the M5 Pro. But personally, I don't think it's going to happen then. I think Apple are waiting for the likes of WWDC. Again, that happens kind of the early sort of time of June time. It's normally the first full week of June is when they like to do WWDC. So WWDC 2026, I personally think this is when we will see the updates to the Mac Mini, and we'll also see the likes of the update to the iMac and also the likes to the Mac Studio. Basically the full desktop line of Macs, because really they're the ones that are all missing out at the moment with getting the M5 chip. So it makes sense to do all of these together around that time. And what better place to do it than WWDC 2026. But if it does happen, then probably be able to get your hands on it probably about a week or 2 later. So we're probably looking around mid June at the time when we'll get this new M5 and M5 Pro Mac Mini. But really guys, that is the latest and greatest that we have on the Mac Mini. Are you excited for it? Are you going to get one when it comes out maybe in a month's time or in a few months time? Well, let me know in the comments below. And on that note as well guys, it's time to wrap up the video too. So if you have enjoyed watching it, please do press the like button. As always, if you want to hear the latest Apple news, reviews and comparisons, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Until next time guys, I'll see you really soon. Take care. Bye bye.